So today's session is going to be our first of the year reintroduction into doing some balance exercises. So it's going to be not too difficult, just getting back into it, because it might have been a little while since you've been standing on one leg with your eyes closed. So we'll build up to it. And as always, if you're not feeling great or if something's a bit difficult today, you just want to take a breather, just take a breather, have a sit down, I don't mind. They're not going to be the most difficult balance exercises in our repertoire, so don't worry. It has been a couple of weeks for some of you since you've done some exercises, and we're just still getting back into it. I didn't want to go straight in at the same level that we were doing before Christmas. But you will need something to hold on to, so whether that's the back of your chair or a wall or the back of your couch, as we do our balance exercises. And then depending on how we get on for time, we'll do a little bit of a sit down at the end, and we'll do some resistance band exercises, just so that you're not standing up for the whole hour. That makes sense. Right, without further ado, oh blimey. Right, I'm looking like a zebra crossing today. Black and white. Right, so warm up today is going to be sat down. So I just want you to sit forward on the edge of your chair. Let's do a little bit for our postures, because we are probably all spending a little bit too much time sat down at the moment. So sitting, let me just move this out of the way just a second. So perching on the edge of your chair, feet flat on the floor, you can just relax your hands. Try and find the bony bits, try and find the sit bones. So that might mean just pulling a little bit of that flesh out the way. And then we're just going to try and just sit up nice and tall like we've done many, many times before. But we're just remembering that muscle memory, just finding that muscle memory. So feel yourself lengthen, feel yourself drawn up towards the ceiling, nice and tall. We're going to lift our shoulders up, shoulders back, and then just let your shoulders drop so you feel like your chest is just pronounced a little bit more and your shoulders are being pulled back slightly. And then you can relax. I see a bit of movement on the camera. I hope everyone's all right and you can hear me. Can I have a thumbs up if you can hear me all right? Good, that'll do, thank you. So you just relax. So let's just try that again. So on those bony bits, we're not leaning forward, we're not leaning back. And then from that tailbone, all the way up, feel yourself drawn up towards the ceiling, nice and tall. Put some space, put some length into your spine. Lifting your shoulders up, roll them back, just let them drop slightly. So chest feels like it's a little bit more pronounced. Shoulders are pulled back slightly, and then you can relax. Okay, hands up. Just give your hands a bit of a shake. And then up and down, and twisting, and fingers in and out. Shoulders up and down, roll them back. Roll them forwards, up and down. Fabulous. Pick up a ball over your head, start throwing that ball. Good. Pretend it's a rugby ball, so underneath. So pretend it's a rugby ball. So coming from the side with a little bit of a flick, a little bit of a flourish. Good. Sitting up nice and tall, hands on knees. Lift it up and back down. Lift it up and back down. One more time, stretch it up. And back down, relax there, give those shoulders a shake. Let's get marching. Let's get marching. So I've got my green and blue socks on today, so hopefully you can see my feet nice and clearly. Try to position the camera in such a way that you can see all of me when I am stood up and when I'm sat down. Trying to find like the Goldilocks position for the camera. Right, so we are marching at a fairly brisk pace. We are nice and light on the balls of our feet. And we've got a little bit of purpose with our arms. So we're not letting our spaghetti arms. We want to be nice and purposeful as we warm up on a cold January day. And we're getting our heart rate up. We're getting that circulation boosting. And we're just getting a little bit more oxygen into our lungs. So hopefully you're feeling fairly comfortable. Let's have a little bit of a think about your posture. Are we still sat up nice and tall? I'm sure we are. Let's stretch those arms out to the front. So keeping your feet going up and down and stretching those arms out to the front, getting some movement through the front of the shoulders. You do not need to keep changing the position on your chair like I am doing. I'm just showing you my good sides. So just stretching out, perhaps a little bit of extra rotation through the shoulders as you start to warm up and are able to reach a little bit further. Okay, back to normal marching. Keeping that pace, keeping that rhythm. Hopefully you're managing opposite arm and legs. All right, let's stretch up. Alternating those arms. Again, just finding that nice rhythm. Feeling your heart rate and your breathing rate increasing. Beautiful. And we're stretching out to the front again. And we're stretching up. And we're stretching forwards. And we're going to go back to our marching. A little bit of a posture check again. You're still sat up nice and tall. Hopefully you are. Let me come round here because we're going to change our legs. So we're extending the legs out. Alternating. Opposite arm and leg if you can manage that. We're reaching with each leg and we're dabbing our heels out to the front. There we go. You can clearly see doing opposite arm and leg. Have we got it? Okay, we're going to reach with the toes. So we're going to extend the foot so that you're trying to lead with the toes, and your toes are trying to be the first thing that hits the ground when you extend each foot. Might be a little bit tricky. It does need quite a bit of flexibility through the top of the foot and the ankle. You might find it's actually your heel that's reaching the ground first, but it doesn't matter because you are striving with the toes. You are trying to get the toes down first. So that's the important thing. Back to heels. And back to toes. And back to heels. Okay, we're going to extend the arms now. So more of a reach with the arms. More of a twist through the upper body. More extension through the shoulders. You might start to feel more movement through the rib cage, through the lower ribs, through the lower back, through the tummy, which is all good, by the way. So keeping those legs extending out to the front, your arms are going to stretch up. Come round here. Oh, there we go. Arms out to the front. Hopefully you're still doing opposite arm and leg. And stretching up. And reaching forwards. And back to normal marching. Let's do some toe taps side to side. So get nice and light on the toes. Once you've got your feet going, make sure your knees are also traveling out to the side. Bring your arms into it for those bicep curls. And check your postures. Have we slumped? Have we gone a little bit forwards with our shoulders, or are we still sat up nice and tall? Thinking of that posture, let's change the arms as we stretch up. We're still keeping this good pace, fairly brisk pace. We're pushing away. If this is your first session with me of the year, might come as a little bit of a shock. So don't worry. Don't worry. Don't compare yourself to what you were doing a couple of weeks ago. You will soon get your fitness back. Let's stretch up. Let's push away. Let's do some funky chickens. Beautiful, lovely. Really warm up through those shoulders and the top of the back. Let's go back to curls. And back to normal marching. All right, slowing it down, but we'll just bob those heels up and down. Bob those heels up and down. And relax there. Sitting up nice and tall. Shoulders up and down. Okay, this time what I want you to do is touch your shoulders. And gently now, just rolling the elbows up and backwards. Up and backwards. Just nice and slowly. I just want you to think about your posture. But also think about how much range of movement you're getting in your shoulders today. Is it good? Is it bad? You're getting some odd crunching noises. Okay, I'm going to go in the other direction. So again, just nice and slow. Just thinking about your range of movement. Can you go a little bit more if you like? Can you really exaggerate that movement today, or are you a little bit tentative, a little bit worried about your shoulders? Okay, just one more rotation. And relax there. Okay, so still sitting up nice and tall, one arm on top of the other, and then very gently now rotating from one side to the other. As always, don't just move your elbows from side to side. Try and get the movement through the lower back, through the bottom of the ribs, through the tummy. Just come back to the center. We're just going to change this slightly. We're going to try and increase the range of movement. We're going to rotate to one side. That arm is going to extend out and then back to the center, and then the other side. So it's a bit like doing a half Barbara Windsor. Yeah, you know what I mean? So as we're turning and we're extending the arm on that side, turn your head as well. Beautiful, lovely. Something just a little bit different, just increase that range of movement, and then just gently coming back through to the center and give your shoulders a little bit of a shake. So sitting up nice and tall, our air press ups, so hands in front of your shoulders, you're going to push it all the way out, and then draw those hands all the way back as far as you can. And there's a little bit of an extension through the back here, so we push all the way out, and then coming all the way back. So this is okay. We're trying to get that curve through the spine. We're trying to get movement through the back. So stretching out the back as well. It's not just the chest and the front of the shoulders. Really exaggerating that movement. And relax there. Just coming back through to the center. Okay, a little bit with the legs. So a leg, as always, don't mind which. And we're just swinging from the knee. Just nice and gently, again, just paying attention. If those knees are a little bit delicate today, you might just want to reduce that range of movement. If you're feeling okay, you might be able to fully straighten that leg. Regardless, I'm sure you're all feeling it through the top of that thigh into the hip. So let's go on to the ankle. So just flexing that ankle up and down. Again, concentrating on the greatest range of movement you can through that joint. We're going to go side to side like a windscreen wiper, just the ankle that's moving. We don't want to move the whole of the leg going from side to side. We just want the ankle. And now we're going to make a circle with that ankle, one direction, and circling round in the other direction. And relax there. Same again on the other side again, swinging that foot forwards and backwards, modifying the movement depending on you, depending on how those knees are feeling. So making it smaller or fully extending that leg if you can. Still feeling it through the thigh and through the top of the hip. Now just the foot, so flexing the ankle again up and down. And then side to side. And a circle in one direction. And a circle in the other direction. And relax there. Let's do a little bit with our hips, just sitting up nice and tall. So a leg, we're going to lift up. We're going to move that leg out to the side, down, and then slide in. Up, out, down, in. Up, out, down, in. One more. Lovely. Same leg, we're going to go in the other direction. So we're going to slide, lift, in, and down. Get that circular movement. Slide, lift, in, down. One more, slide, lift, in, and relax. Other leg, up, out, down, and in. Up, out, down, in. Can you make it a little bit smoother, a little bit more circular? Last one. Oh, what day is it today? Relax there. That's the fire alarm going off. Bear with me. Hopefully it's just a fire alarm test. Let's do the other side. So we're going to slide, lift, in, down. Slide, lift, in, down. Ooh, so good for that. Slide, lift, in, down. One more. Slide, lift, in, and relax there. The gym is attached to Travel Lodge, and Travel Lodge have control over the fire alarm test, so nothing to do with me, I'm afraid. Right, okay. Okay, hands up. Punches, Nice and quick. I want to get your heart rate up. So we're going to be straight punches out to the front. We're going to do 10 seconds. Are you ready? Wait for it. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, faster. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. Just a little movement, little movements, little movements. We're going to go again. Same again in 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Slow it down, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. Deep breath, but just keep those arms going forwards and backwards, just nice and relaxed. Couple of deep breaths. We're going to do that one more time in 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, faster. 5, faster. 6, 7, 8, 9, 9.5, 10. And relax there and slow it down, slow it down. Just relax. Give your arms a shake. It's good to be back, isn't it? Okay. Deep breath. If you've got a drink of water and you just want to have a quick slurp, please have a quick slurp because we're going to move on to the balance exercises now. Okay. So without further ado, what I want you to do, just in your own way, I want you to stand up and go to your support. So whether that's the back of your chair or the back of your couch or the wall or whatever it is, I'm going to use this. Can you just bear with me? Don't go anywhere. Hang on a second. I will be right back. Hang on a minute. Oh, sorry about that. Right, so balance. So some of the balance exercises we're going to do today are going to be what may appear to be really, really easy. But as I say, we're starting off from almost like a clean slate, and we will build up the difficulty in the coming weeks. So please feel free to use your support. If you find them too easy, these exercises, then let go of your support. All right. Right. So the first exercise I want you to do, I want you to stand with both feet shoulder width apart. All right. So at the very start, we talked about our posture. So if you're holding on to your support either this way or this way, that's absolutely fine. You can still do your posture check. Let me come a little bit closer. So both feet shoulder width apart. I want you to have, I don't want you to, can I demonstrate this? I don't want you to lock your knees out. So I just want a tiny, tiny, tiny little bend in the knees, soft knees. I certainly don't want you to push your knees out because that's going to damage the knees. And then think about what we talk about for our posture. So from the tailbone all the way up towards the base of your skull and then through the top of the head. I just want you to think about your posture. Okay, you with me so far? Good. Shoulders up, roll your shoulders back and down. So again, we've got that sensation, if you like, of your chest just being ever so slightly more prominent. Okay, you with me so far? Feel and memorize how this sensation feels right now. Because what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes. Try and stay still. Okay, so just want you to hold this position with your eyes closed for as long as you can. If you feel like you can let go with your eyes closed, standing up nice and tall, maintaining this posture, then give it a go. You can always put your hand back down. Now you might notice with your eyes closed that you feel your muscles working really quite hard to stay balanced, even though you stood on 2 feet. So I want you to just relax, open your eyes. Okay? Good. So you can practice that. It is a balance exercise. I know you stood on 2 feet. I know we've got this base, we've got this wide base, but closing your eyes and holding that position and then just noticing how the muscles in your legs or your hips or your tummy are just making those very tiny adjustments to keep you balanced, to stop you from falling forwards or backwards. So you can practice that. Okay. So you've still got your support. What I want you to do now is I want you to move your feet so they're next to each other. Okay. Again, think of your posture. So from the tailbone all the way up your spine to the base of your skull. coming out the top of your head. Let's do our shoulders again. So shoulders up, back and down. Hold that position just for a moment, and you'll notice that because we've narrowed your base, your center of gravity has to work quite hard. Your center of gravity is actually raised up just slightly, and your balance is different. Okay. Close your eyes again. Close your eyes again. And just think about your posture. Are you able to maintain that position? If you're finding it relatively easy, then perhaps take your hand away from the support. And you might just feel yourself just moving slightly. You might have to put your hand back down. You may even have to open your eyes. Not quite so easy, is it? Okay, so just relax there. Open your eyes. You can give your legs a little bit of a shake out if you want to. Just give your body a little bit of a shake out. We've not tried that one before, I know. I thought I would. I thought I'd give it a go, just so that you can see, actually, standing on 2 feet, whether it's in a wide position or a narrow position, actually turns it into a balance exercise, especially when you close your eyes, because you haven't got that point of focus to hold your position. Okay. Right, so let's go into something a little bit more traditional that you know of. We're going to do a one-legged stand. So the leg furthest away from your support. If you're behind your support, just pick a leg. Doesn't really matter which. I want you to plant that foot into the ground. Really think about planting the foot, sticking it right in the ground. Your other foot, you'll find that your weight automatically transfers onto that planted foot. Your other foot becomes light. So I just want you to lift that foot just a couple of inches off the ground. I don't mind, as always, whether you want to lift it to the front or you want to move that foot behind you. Doesn't really matter. Whatever you're comfortable with. Before you let go, think about your posture again. So nice straight backs, nice and tall. Your hand is just resting lightly on the top of your support. Hold that position now. Eyes straight ahead. Look at something that isn't going to move and focus on that point. Hold this position. Settle into this position. Don't give up. Always put your hand back down if you need to, or if you're feeling confident, you can try and lift your hand a couple of inches. You never know. You never know how you might be feeling today. Hold that position. Nice and tall. Think of your posture, and then relax. Put your foot on the ground. Just give your legs just a little bit of a shake, because you can feel that build through the hip. Same leg. Plant it in the ground. Same leg. Plant it in the ground, same leg comes off the ground. So we're just having a little bit of an overload on this side. Either lift the front foot to the front or just hold it behind you. Posture, hand resting lightly on your support, straight into it. Find that point on the wall, hold it. Try and be as still as you can, whether your hand is on the support or you've lifted your hand. Try and be still. Concentrate on that point on the wall. Don't get distracted by anything else around you. I know that leg is achy. Fight through, fight through. Good, relax, relax, relax. Both legs on the ground, and again, just shake out those legs. I just want to give it some of this, yeah? Okay, going to do the other side, so you know what's coming. So plant that leg down, really fix that leg into the ground. All your body weight is now shifted across onto that leg that I've asked you to plant into the ground. This leg becomes light, allowing you to lift it off the ground, either to the front or behind. We're thinking about our postures again, so we're nice and tall. We want to be still. We've identified that mark on the wall that we're going to look at and focus on. Our hand is resting lightly on our support. We're not gripping on, it's not a white knuckle ride. And we're still, we're concentrating, we're focused. We're going to think about what we're doing with our hand, lifting it, perhaps just putting one finger or two fingers on the back of your support. Hold that position. And relax there. Both feet on the ground again, shake it out. Shake it out. Straight back on it. So plant that foot back on the ground, nice and solid, nice and firm. Other leg comes off the ground. We reset our posture. We find our point on the wall. We're thinking about what we do with our hand. We're nice and light on our support if we're using it. And we're still. We are concentrating. We are focused. We are balanced. That leg on the ground is strong. Hold that position. And relax. Give those legs a shake. Shake it out. Shake out that tension. I know if you've not done this for a little while, that is hard. A couple of weeks ago, you might have been like a ballerina doing all sorts. If you've not done anything for a little while, you think, oh, I can really feel that through the hips. All right, you know what to do. We've spoken about it before, about practicing. Just in the kitchen, while you're boiling the kettle, you can practice just by holding onto your worktop. Just 10 seconds, 10 seconds on the other side. It soon comes back. Okay, so something a little bit more dynamic now. We're going to do our tightrope sway, which is a little bit easier than the tightrope balance. So just to remind you, the tightrope sway, my analogy is when you're on the deck of a ship and you've got that motion in the ocean. So with this next one, you're constantly shifting your center of gravity, so you have to adapt to that. So you've got your support, you've got a hand on your support. We're going to get into our tightrope position. So a foot, a leg is going to swing round so that it is in line with your other foot. If I just do that side on, you can see that my toes of my back leg are just touching the heel of my front foot and I'm in a line. Now, if this is too much, if you can't manage this position, this tightrope position, remember you can do the balance beam. The balance beam is where you just shift that front foot across slightly so that there's a little bit of lateral separation, 5 or 6 inches, that's all you need. So you're still level, you've just shifted that front foot across slightly. It just makes it a little bit more comfortable on the hips and through the knees as well. Okay, so we're in our tightrope or our balance beam position. Both feet flat on the floor. You with me so far? Good. Hand resting on your support. Okay, I just want you to think about your weight distribution. So as I think about my weight distribution at the moment, I notice that most of my weight is on my back leg, and I don't want that. I'm just going to redistribute my weight so I'm equal. So I've got the same amount of weight over the front foot as the back foot. Now I'm going to think about my posture. I'm just going to stand up nice and tall. So this is where we do our sway. So what we're going to do is we're going to, keeping our chest lifted, we're going to lean forward so that our weight comes over the front foot and then come back so the weight comes over the back foot. So forward, sway, back, sway. So trying to get into a rhythm, If you feel like your heel comes off the ground or your toes come off the ground, that is okay, that is fine. But we keep our chest lifted, our head isn't bobbing forwards and backwards. And we're shifting our weight over the back leg, shifting our center of gravity backwards. And as we come forwards, the weight comes over the front foot and our center of gravity comes forwards. So this is that analogy that if you're on the deck of a ship and you're trying to counter the movement of the ocean, forwards and backwards. So just nice and smooth. If you think that you can take your hand off your support, you can always put it back down if you need to, then please do. So just a couple more sways, still thinking about your posture. So even though you are moving, you can still maintain that tall posture. Fabulous. Okay, so just relax there. Remember which is your lead foot. I want you to look down and just check which is your lead foot. Come off your tightrope or your balance beam and give your legs a little bit of a shake. So that's not quite as demanding on the hips as some of the other variations of the tightrope. Okay, so I'm going to do the other side. So this is why I asked you to check which is your lead foot, because I know sometimes you forget. So switching the position. Back onto your tightrope or balance beam. Entirely up to you, depending on how you're feeling. You might manage one side, but not the other. Again, let's start at the bottom. So we're thinking about our weight distribution. We want to be equal over both feet. We're thinking about our postures. We're nice and tall. We feel our chest being pushed out slightly. Our hand is going to rest lightly on the support. And here we go. So we're going to lean forwards, transfer the weight over to the front foot, come back, weight over your back leg, keeping the chest raised. We're just swaying forwards and backwards. And as before, if it feels natural to lift the toes up or the heel as you move that forwards and backwards, and please do. Get into a rhythm, and then think, if you can, take your hand off your supports, and please do. If you want to keep your hand in contact with your support, that's absolutely fine. Whatever works for you today. Remember, this is our first balance exercise of our first balance session of the year. We're just getting back into it. So just nice and smooth as always, just nice and controlled. Lovely, and relax there. Come off your tightrope and give your legs a little bit of a shake. Okay, so I'm going to do one more balance exercise, which I've not done before. So if this doesn't work, if it's not for us, then don't worry, or let me know if you think, God, Alison, that was the best exercise in the world, then let me know. So as I say, we've not tried this before. So you're going to need to be in contact with your support to start off with anyway. For purposes of demonstration, I'm going to move my support out of the way. That's only for the purposes of demonstration. Because you might find this better to stand directly behind your support. So you're standing behind your support rather than side onto your support. So imagine I'm still behind my chair. So what I want you to do, let me just come back here a little bit. So what I want you to do is I want you to stand quite wide. I'm not doing the splits, all right? I just want you to stand quite wide and have a little bend in your knees. Have a tiny little bend in your knees, and you've got hold of your support. Okay, you with me? So it's a bit narrower than sitting on a horse, but wider than normal standing, if that makes sense. Tiny little bend in your knees. You've got your hands on your support. So we're going to do a side-to-side movement. We're going to start off, we're not going to take the feet off the ground to start off with. We'll see how we get on. So what we're going to do is we're going to transfer our weight across to one side, and I'm going to go into the toes of that outside leg. So I've got a bend in this knee. This leg is almost straight, but I'm keeping my toes on the ground. And then I'm going to come across to the other side, toes. Come across to the other side. Come across to the other side. All right, so you might feel a bit of a stretch through the hips, but it's this sliding sideways movement. So if you get into a rhythm and you think, well, I'm doing all right here, you want to make it harder, take that foot off the ground as you come across. Yeah? And if you want to make it even harder, then think about what you're doing with your support. So we're sliding across, we're changing our center of gravity as we come across. You might be keeping that toe down as you come across, but it's still that lateral movement. So it requires control. It requires poise as you come across. All right, I'm hoping that you've got the hang of that. Yeah, even if you're just keeping your toes in contact with the ground as you move across, you can certainly still feel that. Right, okay, just one more on each side. And then when you've done that, relax. Just bring your feet in and just give your legs just a little bit of a shake. Right, I think that's quite enough of those balance exercises. So take a seat for me. Take a seat, have a rest. Wasn't too bad, was it? Don't think so. I'm sure you'll tell me later. Okay. Grab your resistance bands. So we've got 10-15 minutes or so. So we'll do a little bit with the resistance bands. Lovely. I think I can see most people have got their bands and have sat back down. And I think are grateful for that. So I'm going to go straight into some upper body exercise. I'm going to do a little bit for the arms and a little bit for the back. So the first I'm going to do is for the back of the arms. And I'm going to do this variation on the tricep press, which we introduced, which I introduced before Christmas. So you've got your band. I'm going to exercise this hand first of all, which is my right hand. So I'm going to hold the band like this. So I've tucked my elbows in. I've just got a little bit of slack in between my between my hands. So this hand is not going to do anything. It's going to stay nice and still. This hand is going to do the exercise. Both elbows tucked in. So this hand is going to come down and out to the side and then back in. So I'm just moving from the elbow to come round here. So it's this diagonal and out to the side at the same time. So you can see that my band is at a 45-degree angle and back in. But it's just my elbow that is moving. I'm not moving my shoulder around, so I'm not doing any of this kind of swinging movement. My elbow stays still as I press my arm back and down. Posture. Just throw the P word in there. Posture. Okay, if you want to make it harder, you can just move that hand just a couple of inches up your band to put more resistance on your band. If you want to make it easier, then you move your hand further away from that anchor point. It's entirely up to you. Just nice and slow. Give those legs a good rest. And as you extend that arm out, you're just going to hold it for a second and then bring it back. So pushing out, hopefully you're feeling those muscles on the backs of your arms, those tricep muscles. And back. Just one more on this side. Beautiful. And relax there. You can give your arms just a little bit of a shake because we are going to do the other side. So just keeping your hands, again, nice and high. So this time, this hand is going to stay still. The other hand is going to do the exercising. So that hand comes down and across and then back up. So it comes down and across. The elbow is the pivot point, as I explained before. So we're not sweeping all the way back here. We just want to push down and across. Holding it for half a second when you extend, and then bringing it back up. Adjust the band if you need to make it harder or to make it easier. You might be getting a bit fed up of me now and might be thinking, crikey, I'm tired. And you might just want to make these exercises a little bit easier. I don't mind. Don't take offense. We all have good days and bad days. Okay, we're going to do two more. There's one of them. Last one. Pushing out and across and relax. Give your arms a little bit of a shake. And shoulders. Right, speaking of shoulders, we're going to do shrugs. We've not done these for a little while. So these are the shrugging movement, this. So it's where we lift our shoulders up nice and high and then we drop them. So this is going to strengthen the very top of your shoulders, your trapezius, the base of your neck, top of your back. Okay, so two options. Option one is the easier version. This is the one where we put both, so you've got your band nice and long, and you put your feet onto your band, and then you're aiming to get your hands as close to your feet as you can, right down there, so that when you sit up, there is tension on your band as we do this. That's option one, easier. Option two, harder. You fold your band in half. And one of the reasons why it's hard is actually this is quite difficult now to get both feet on. All right? A little bit tricky, especially if your backs are a little bit sore. You might not want to be crouching right over here. And then you're sitting up nice and tall. So you've either got your band doubled over or you've got your band in a single position, but you should all be in this kind of position. Both feet flat on the floor. Your arms are extended and there should be tension on your band. Whichever version you're doing, there needs to be tension on your band. You certainly don't want a floppy band for this. Sit up nice and tall. Using your shoulders, I say again, using your shoulders, lift your shoulders up towards your ears. So you're not using your hands. You are not pulling on the band. There shouldn't be any bent elbows on this. Lifting the shoulders up towards the ears and then slowly lowering. Think of your posture. So again, whichever version you're doing with your band, nice tall postures. If you're on option one and you're finding this easy, then you might want to walk your hands a little bit further down your resistance band. Same for option 2. It's a little bit harder to walk your hands down on option 2 because there's quite a lot of tension on that band anyway. Concentrate on those shoulders raising up towards your ears. Remember, you're not lifting with your hands. We're not pulling with the hands. We are lifting with our shoulders. Subtle difference. So give it a good squeeze at the very top and then lower back down. We're going to do 2 more. Nice high shoulders and lower. Last one. Good for your posture, this one. And relax there. Let go with one hand and step off your band. If you let go both, then the band's on the floor, and sometimes it's a bit difficult to bend over and pick up your band. Okay. Oh, I'm spoiled for choice. Okay, so make your band long, hold the ends of it, drop the middle to the ground, and then put both feet on your band. Hold the ends of your band for me. Arms down by your side. Posture, nice and tall. Shoulders back, chest out. Rah, rah, rah. Okay, no higher than your own shoulders. You're going to raise your arms out to the side and then lower back down. So those arms should be properly side on. Let me just turn side on so you can see me. So as you raise, those arms are side on. They're not at a quirky angle out to the front. We're not doing this exercise. We're coming right out to the side. No higher than your own shoulders. Nice and controlled. And back down. Okay, just one more for me for the moment. If your shoulders are not so good and you're only getting part way up, absolutely fine by me. Don't you worry. Relax there anyway and give your shoulders a bit of a shake. So I'm going to make it a little bit harder. As always, if you want to, you can continue doing what you've just done. If that's enough for you today, it's enough for me as well. But if you do want some added difficulty, each time you raise, you go a little bit further. All right? So posture, sitting up nice and tall. So no higher than your own shoulders. And if you want that added difficulty, go a little bit further. And a little bit further. It's entirely up to you how high you go. Depends on how you're feeling. Try and keep the backs of your hands uppermost, because if you turn your fists around, you'll start bending your elbows and doing this kind of crazy movement. Doing this. It's not quite right. Try and keep those arms straight. One more for me. One more for me. And relax there. Give those shoulders a bit of a shake. Step off your band. Fold your band in half. And put it across your lap. So we're in this kind of position. Right, give your hands a bit of a shake. Turn your hands around so your palms are uppermost. Scoop up your band. And we want those hands at 6 inches apart. So we're going to do some pull aparts. We're going to do the 2-part version. We'll do part 1, we'll do a couple of those, and then we'll add the second part. So part 1 is where we're just doing the pull apart. So hands out to the front, sit up nice and tall, equal effort in your left and right side. You're going to pull that band apart and relax. So pulling apart, just hold it for half a second and relax. Make sure those palms stay pointing up towards the ceiling. Make sure you've got a good posture, and make sure that you've got equal effort in your left and right side. You're not just pulling your good side. And you should really start to feel that through your shoulders. Beautiful. One more. Always one more, isn't it? And relax there. Give those shoulders a bit of a shake. So let's add the second part. The second part is where we draw the band in towards our tummy. So we pull apart, we create the tension. And then we pull the band, keeping the tension on the band right in towards the tummy. And the elbows are going as far back as we can. Squeezing the shoulder blades, and we're sitting up nice and tall. We are going to do 10 of these, hopefully, if I can remember to keep count. Sit up nice and tall. Arms out. Pull apart. Keep the tension on. Draw the band in towards your tummy. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. One down. Arms out, pull apart and in. Don't hold your breath. Relax. Arms out, pull apart and in. Squeeze. 3 down. Relax. Arms out, pull apart and in. Relax. Arms out, pull apart. Elbows all the way back. We're halfway through. That was 5. Arms out, pull apart and in. Symmetry. 6. Posture. Arms out, pull apart and in. Squeeze. 7. Arms out, apart and in. 8. Relax. Arms out, pull apart and in. 9. Last one. Make it your best one today. Arms out. Nice and slow. Pull apart. Nice and slow. Nice and slow. Draw it in towards your tummy. Keep that posture. Squeeze those shoulder blades. Don't hold your breath. Keep squeezing. Keep pulling. Keep squeezing. Keep pulling. Don't hold your breath. And relax. And give your shoulders a bit of a shake. All right, wasn't it? Put your band to one side. I did have other ones on my list, but we'll leave them for another day. Just give your hands a shake. And then fingers in and out. Been gripping that band for 5-10 minutes or so. So get rid of any tension. Rotations like egg whisks. And then up and down again. And then in and out. Any stiffness, just get rid of it. Beautiful. Okay, so relax there. Should we do some stretches? Yes, please, Alison. And then you can all have a cup of tea and a biscuit and watch daytime TV. Right, so stretching out your back. So we've just done some back exercises. Let's stretch it out. So just sitting up nice and tall. One hand in front of the other. And then push those hands away. So we're concentrating on the upper back for this stretch as we push both hands away. Don't hold your breath. And relax. And again, push away. Can you get a little bit further on that stretch? And relax. Let's do the chest. So either hands on the small of your back, or you can hold onto the side of your chair. Part 1, we roll the shoulders back, and then the chest will follow as you press your chest forwards. Feel that stretch through the collarbones and the front of your shoulders, and relax. Same again, so we roll the shoulders back, and then allow the chest to follow. And relax there. Okay, a bit more for the shoulders, another stretch. So we're going to put one arm across the front of your body, hold on to the elbow, and then pulling in on that elbow. So stretching out through the back of that shoulder. And then just easing out of that, the other arm across the front of your body, onto your elbow, and gently pull it in. And relax there. Can you, just come into my head, can you grab your elbows? Obviously, opposite elbows, but try and grab the same elbow, otherwise we'll be here all day. Can you raise them up? How high can you raise them? Yeah? Can you lean across to one side? Don't worry if you can't, we're just trying it out. Come back up. Can you lean across to the other side? Okay, come back up and then drop those elbows. Okay, this time drop your arms down by your side and roll your shoulders back. So we are going to do that side stretch now, just without holding onto your elbows. So we're going to let one arm hang heavy and lower it towards the ground. So try and keep both parts of your bum on the chair. We're just trying to get that stretch through the side body. And then we're going to come back up and do the same across to the other side. Let this arm hang heavy. Feel the stretch through the side and back up. Across to the other side. Up and across. We'll do one more on each side. Over. Feel the stretch. Back across to the other side. Feel that stretch. And relax there. Onto our twist. So one hand onto your opposite knee. Other hand holds onto the side of the chair. We're sitting up. Use the hand on your knee as a lever and gently pull yourself around. So posture. We are keeping that spine tall, even though we're twisting. And then we'll come back through to the center. We're going to do the other side. So just change the position of your hands, sitting up nice and tall, and again, gently easing yourself around. And then coming back through to the center. A little bit with our legs. Forgotten about them, haven't you? Doing all those balance exercises. So sitting on the edge of your chair just makes life just a wee bit easier. Extend a leg out, try and get it nice and straight. We're going to point those toes up towards the ceiling. So we're just stretching out through the Achilles and the calf first of all. And then we're going to point those toes to get the stretch on the top of the foot, front of the ankle, on the shin. And then again, just pulling back, getting those toes up towards the ceiling. And then just relax your foot, but keep that leg straight because you're going to put both hands onto the bent leg. This supports you. Don't put your legs onto your straight leg, otherwise you're going to be pushing your knee in the wrong direction. We're sitting up nice and tall, and then taking the weight of your upper body on this bent leg, and then gently lean forwards, nice and gently. Let your body weight hang heavy until you start to feel a stretch through the back of that thigh. Or if you are a little bit stiff, you might feel it through the bum, you might feel it through the lower back, but just relax. And if you do want a slightly deeper stretch, if you point your toes towards the ceiling, you'll just intensify that stretch through the back of the leg. Entirely up to you. And now gently pushing back up to your seated position. Let's do that on the other side, so extend the other leg out. And again, toes first of all, so pointing those toes up towards the ceiling. And then pointing your toes away. And then toes back up towards the ceiling. Relaxing your foot, hands onto your bent leg, sit up tall, folding forward, stretching through the hamstring and through the bum and through the lower back. And again, we're just relaxing, not forcing anything, we're certainly not bouncing up and down. But for that more intense stretch, if you want to, point those toes up towards the ceiling. Please feel free. And gently pushing back up to your seated position. I'm going to very quickly do the lower back stretch. And if it's been a while since you've done this stretch or you've had problems with your back in recent weeks and you don't want to aggravate your lower back in any way, then don't do this stretch. It's entirely up to you. If you are going to do the stretch, just take it nice and simple, nice and slow, nice and simply. Okay, so it's the one where we've got both feet flat on the floor. And we've got our hands on our knees so that we can take the weight and we can control the movement on our knees. So if there is any pain that we're not aware of, we can push back up to our seated position. So taking the weight on your knees, we're sitting up nice and tall. We're just going to gently folding forwards. Again, take the weight of your body on your knees so it's not going through the lower back. And just ease yourself over and just relax. And if you think, oh, that was okay, I'm all right, you want to drop your hands down towards the ground for a deeper stretch, and please do. And we're going to put both hands back on your knees, and then use your hands, use your arms to push yourself back up. So again, you're not putting undue strain through the lower back. And relax there. Okay, some shrugs up and down, nearly finished. And then roll those shoulders backwards. And as always, just finishing off with our neck stretches, nice and gently as always. Just moving the head. So sitting up nice and tall, I'm going to turn the head nice round, looking over your shoulder. So trying to push the chin round as far as it will go. And then coming back through to the center, all the way around, looking over your other shoulder. And back to the center. So gently tilt the head across to one side. Just let that head hang heavy. And then back up, across to the other side. Remember, you're just tilting the head. We're not leaning the whole body over. And back up. Gently now, dropping the chin to the chest. So we're trying to stretch through the base of the skull and the very top of the neck. And slowly lifting up, looking up towards the ceiling. And back down, and finally, as always, just nice and gently, just rolling the head around, nice and slow. Nothing too dramatic at this stage. And then gently, all the way back round in the other direction. And relax there. Give your hands a final shake. Give your legs a pat down. And give yourself a round of applause for today. Well done, well done.